Oh, right. Yeah, this is the last one of John's PayPal requests. This is different as well. There's Phil Collins from that he was in a band he was in the same time as Genesis, which to me is crazy because Genesis is a lot of work in itself. Um, but Brand X with Phil Collins and So To F on the old, on the old grey whistle test. Yeah. Um, yeah, let's go. I don't know why that ended like that, but that being said, that was fire. That was fire. One, Phil Collins, respect, respect just for the work ethic in the man. Because like I say, Genesis in itself is no easy feat. But then to have a band like this too, and his drumming was on fire. But I have to say, the whole band was fire again. The bass player was fire. God bless him. He looked like when he went from seeming as if like he had no motion in his body either, but then after a while it looked like that bass riff he was doing hurt. Like that was so fast bass riff and yeah, guitar player as well. I don't think that's the same guitar player as I don't know. Like I say, I'm not fully versed with the Genesis world. I don't think that's is it Mike Rutherford? I don't think that's him. It might be though. I don't know. But like I say, I can't remember what he actually looks like. I know what Phil Collins looks like. But yeah, that guitar player is fire. Keyboard player is fire. Also, this style of music as well. Do you know what as well? I always because as someone who grew up well in where dance music was a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like I always felt like the dance music that never really come from like how every other music kind of follows suit, but dance music seems to be like the it just seemed to come out of nowhere once computers. But I don't like from watching these older bands like this, even the that movie thing, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, that to use something like that and to kind of remix it a little bit, that's very like something that dance like DJs would do. Like, yeah, listen, quite a few of these old bands, and you see, I suppose it is. Even back then, it was to dance to, music to dance to. But this one felt so much like that, so much like ahead of its time. But then I suppose not because, like I say, yeah, I think that's just because dance music is. I think just because it's made on computers, you just don't associate it the same. But ultimately, I guess it's the same like as the bands. You ultimately want people dancing as well. But yeah, yeah, this was fire. This was a great request. And respect to Phil. Phil's drumming was on fire, and I mean on fire as well. Right, and he actually seemed to be able to just. He's an incredible drummer because to play something like I say, if you watch the bass player throughout this, you could see after a while that bass riff was hurting. Like it was there's such a fast riff and it's such a hard. But Phil's singing and yeah, he's going just as crazy. But yeah, I have to say this is a great band as well. Yeah, we have to do more of this band as well. Brand X. Yeah. And although it is different, but you can see there is a crossover. Because although it was crazy drumming and everything was crazy, it still had an overall um kind of harmony and musicness to it. Yeah. But yeah. And like I say, it's just impressive on its own for the fact that he's even got time for another band. Because watching Genesis, early Genesis as well, they're no joke. Right, that's a lot of work. But yeah, yeah, this was fire. But yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.